everyone! Today I'm going to do a tutorial on how to line my crochet bags. So today I'm going to line my frog bag pattern, which is now available on my website, but this tutorial works for any of my bag designs, just the same technique is used. So you'll need your finished bag, you'll need some fabric scissors, something to mark out your pattern, a good thread. I usually like to use upholstery, something thicker, a needle, and either quilting cotton or cotton canvas. And usually when I use quilting cotton, I like to use a medium weight interfacing just to give it more rigidity. Also need either a sewing machine or a serger. You can hand sew this, it will just take a lot longer. So we're going to start by laying out the fabric. I like to lay it out with the underside facing up. And then we're going to take our bag, we're going to open it up. So we'll open it up as wide as it will go, and then we'll fold it in half, and then fold it again. And I just like to tuck any limbs or parts that come out away so we can get just the body of the bag, the shape of the body of the bag. So I'll lay that down on the fabric, and this will be where we create our pattern for our bag. So we'll take our marker, our fabric marker or chalk or whatever you have, and we'll mark out from just close beside it all the way around. And I usually go to about 3 rows down from the top of the base and across, and then all the way around. Switch to something a little darker so you can see, but that's the general shape that you'll get and so we'll cut that out, and then we'll use that as a template for our next 3 cuts. We have our first piece, and so we'll go and we'll just do the exact same thing, trace around this piece and cut out another one, and then we'll flip it and do 2 more tracing around this way. Now that we have our 4 pieces cut out, we'll take them, make sure that the pattern is on the inside, and we'll take 2, put them together, and do the same thing with the other 2. And then we are either going to serge or sew down the sides, one side of both. So now that our sides are serged, I prefer to serge, but if you're sewing, you can also do a little zigzag along the edge to prevent fraying. Now we're going to open them up, and we're going to put the pattern on the inside and combine them to create the same shape as our bag. So we'll start on one side, and we'll either serge or sew all the way around, matching those, matching the bottom seam, and then going across and all the way back to the top on the other side. Now that we've serged all the way around, we can take it and flip it so that our pattern is showing, and push out those seams so that it opens up fully. Then we can take our bag and we will flip it inside out, the body inside out. So we'll open it all the way up again and just push it so that everything's inside there. Now I like to just kind of squish it up, and we will stick the base inside out into the lining. So you should have the right side of the lining facing out and the wrong side facing the wrong side of your bag. You'll get your needle and thread ready with enough thread that you won't run out when you're sewing along, hand sewing along the top of your lining. So I like to start making sure that the bag is facing forward. I like to have a seam right in the front there. And you just fold the lining down so that you don't have any raw edges. And you start your stitch going into that folded area. And then I find from the third row down, I find the top of the fourth row down. And I remember that, and I don't go all the way through the bag, but just halfway through that stitch so that it doesn't show on the other side. You pull and add a knot and make sure that end is tucked away safe. Now that you have the beginning secured, you will continue doing that, folding the raw edge down, inserting your needle through the fabric and also through those top loops of the fourth last round. And I like to use a blanket stitch all the way around, but you can use a whip stitch if you prefer. Keeping it secure, and you'll do that all the way around until you come back to the front. I'm about halfway through so far, so you can see my blanket stitch running through. Make sure as you sew around that you're making sure that the lining and the bag match up, because sometimes you don't want to end up at the end and have so much of the bag left, a bunching up of the bag, and no fabric left to sew to. So I'm at the back, so I'm about at the back of my bag as well, and I'll continue to the front. So I finished it off and secured it and just wove that end into the center there. So with it stitched all the way around, all raw edges are covered, and all your yarn that was on the inside of your bag is now covered as well. So now you can flip it back, pushing the lining in. And now you've lined your bag. This is a great way to give your bag some sturdiness, and also it means that it won't stretch out over time as you put items into it. Thank you, and I hope this is helpful, and I hope you line some beautiful bags. Have a great day.